Proposal we're looking at means the government is basically guaranteeing we'll see more big bailouts. The Democrats say that is just flatly untrue. Paul Gigot is with us, editorial page director for the Wall Street Journal. Paul, if we kind of get to the heart of that disagreement, we've heard so much rhetoric over the last couple of days about this. It's a $50 billion fund that certain companies would contribute to, and if they had problems, they could take from that fund. But the Republicans say that's really just legislating more bailouts.
Well, and it's $50 billion. This last bailout cost us a lot more than $50 billion, so that's not nearly enough. But Democrats try to argue, look, if you put this money in advance, then you won't have to go to taxpayers. I don't think that's right. I think you're still going to end up having to go to taxpayers, even if you do hit the banks with this $50 billion fund. So on that one, I think the Republicans are right. If you put the money out there, it's probably going to be used.
Interesting. Chris Dodd, a Democrat of the Banking Committee, said that this fund was the Republicans' idea in the first place. This is how they wanted it, now they have it, and isn't this ironic they're complaining about it?
Well, I think that some people think, oh, it's like deposit insurance. The banks are taxed on it in advance, and doesn't mean you necessarily use it. But I think that if you have this big fund, the tax itself is going to be passed along to the consumer or depositors or shareholders of the banks. The banks themselves will just pass that cost along. The real issue with too big to fail is, do you give the government a lot of discretion through federal deposit insurance guarantees or treasury guarantees, and will those are in the bill, and those are the real.
So they can choose who gets what and how much, and we don't have control over it.
That's right. Ultimately, if they want to pay off somebody some 80 cents on the dollar and somebody else 60, do they have that discretion?
Do we ever get back to the point where there is no expectation that you get assistance from the government?
It's going to be really hard to do in the wake of what happened in 2008 and 2009, because right now, as it stands, investors believe the biggest banks really can't fail because the government will always bail them out. So this legislation needs to have a lot more a lot firmer rules on not allowing that to happen, and that's where the debate is going now.
Yeah, very quickly, I know Harry Reid was talking about maybe pushing this to next week, potentially for a vote. Where do you see it? It sounds very partisan at the moment.
It is partisan right now. The Democrats think they can break the Republicans up and push it through. The Republicans are trying to hold together their 41 votes, and if they do that, then they think they can force the Democrats back to the negotiating table. So that's where the tension is right now. If Republicans hold 41, then I think the Democrats will have to go back and negotiate with them again.
Okay.